Hello, this is Mike at GameFromScratch, and welcome back to the ongoing Game Dev Toolbox series. I'll look at the essential tools for game developers, be it artists, programmers, audio technicians, designers, you name it. Today we're looking at an artist tool, and it's called Sprite Illuminator. Now the entire idea behind Sprite Illuminator is it enables you to add lighting effects to already created sprites. And it does this using a process called normal mapping. Now if you've ever worked in 3D, you're probably already familiar with a normal map. But a normal map is essentially a way of adding detail that isn't there. You're adding depth detail that the lighting model can then use to figure out, for example, a brick wall. You would have a normal map that would represent the grout lines, the depth of the grout lines that isn't actually there in the upper level polygons. So then when it's rendered, the light will interact as if there was detail there. Well, Sprite Illuminator does the exact same thing, but in 2D. Don't worry, you'll understand it in a moment when we look at this guy. Now, it's from a company called Code & Web. We've already featured them once for a program called Texture Packer, and I'm a big fan of their products. They're very streamlined and clean. Now, they're not free. The Code & Web, the Sprite Illuminator that we're looking at today is $55 Canadian. That's a flat-out purchase, which is probably, given the weakness of my currency, is about 40 bucks US, possibly 45. I'm not entirely certain. But if you're watching this video right now, as in today is January the 3rd, 2017, it's actually featured in the premium tier of the Humble Bundle. So if you get the Humble Game Dev Bundle right now and pay $10 or more, you get Sprite Illuminator included, which is part of the reason why I'm covering this right now as it is. It's a great program, but if you like what you see today, jump on this bundle. You can get it for a great price, but it's probably worth the full price all the same. So anyways, it's available from codandweb.com. It's called Sprite Illuminator, and now let's jump right in. Now this is a sprite loaded into it. Here, let me just get rid of that. We'll start over from scratch. Here, we'll create a new project. All right, so here is your starting world, and all you need to do is basically bring in your sprite or your multiple sprites. So I'll bring in a single sprite like what we just saw there, and just drag it in like so. So now we have one sprite in our scene. Now we could have brought in a folder, we could have brought in multiple sprites to work with at the same time, but in this case is much simpler just to bring in this one sprite. And so you see here, I can use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out, and now what we can do is basically apply lighting effects to said sprite. You can also pan around by holding down the middle mouse button. But notice this little guy over here, well, this is your light source. So I can just click on it and drag it around, and you can see the effect of the lighting on the surface, like so. We can change the color of the sprite down here. We can change the distance, the z-axis, how far away it is, here, like so. And again, we can change the brightness, the effects of said light, and we can change the color and the ambient light color here. So we can just basically position a sprite in our world, and if that's all you had to do, you're done. You know, at this point in time, you could export out your lit sprite and you're good to go. But the next thing we're going to look at then is this normal map concept. Now this allows you to add more detail that isn't actually there on your drawn sprite, and then your lighting model is going to be able to deal with it. So for example, let's say we want to add some detail where these particular, I forget what those are called, but in between the membranes, the bone part of the wing. We'll go ahead and the tools are over here. We're going to change the height. So we're basically going to draw some height level detail on our underlying normal map. So jack our brush size down, so about that size, and we'll jack the hardness up like that. And then we can just basically trace along the wing like so. And you can see the result in real time as I'm doing it. So now that's raised to the underlying lighting model. Like so. And to continue on. So now if I go back and look at the normal map, you'll see those are the raised areas that I've just now drawn. So when it's calculating the lighting, it's going to calculate it as if that surface was actually raised. And you can get into a little bit more detail. You can come over here and instead go structure. And see this, we've got a bark-like texture, canvas, chainmail. So if we want to give a chainmail look, we could go there easily. The bark probably works just as well for this back. And if we just want to add some detail to this, this dragon's back, like a bark-like detail, just drag over it. And there you see, now we're getting contours or textures that weren't there in the previous sprite. So it allows you to rapidly add shape. And now when we move our light around, it will see how it's shadowing it? Like so. And that is essentially what Sprite Illuminator is all about. Now, when you're done, you've got one of two options. And if you're working in a 3D engine and applying, you can then use a 2D normal map as part of your process, or you can export your updated sprite as a new sprite. So first off, let's go ahead and do it, export that way. Let's go, sure, desktop, down 01 lit, and There it is. So there is our lit sprite exported out of the process. At the same time, we could export out that normal map for use in 3D. Then that's just a matter of export normals. And this will add an _n extension to it. So let's just go ahead and send that to desktop. Okay. So now we have a normal map here. Click it, and there you see the actual normal map. So if we wanted to go and then apply that against a 2D sprite map onto a 3D plane, we can get the same kind of detail that we're getting here as an end result. And that's really kind of the extent of this tool. It's not you know, extremely complicated by any means. You know, we got some more advanced tools down here. For example, we can mask off, you know, the areas we want to work on, so that only that area will be affected by our brush. So then, you know, if I was drawing over here, nothing would happen, etc. And then we've got a magic wand, which can kind of guess for us, plus or minus the tolerances. So if we want to just, you know, get certain region, as I'm shift-clicking, get more, and then it will just work in that particular area alone. If you've done any 2D image painting, you know exactly what we're dealing with. So you can mask off the areas that you're going to deal with. At the same time, we've got a couple other tools here, like we've got smooth. So here is the underlying normal map we've made. That's a little bit on the rough side. We wanted to smooth that out a little bit. We can just use the smooth tool. Oh, now that I've got this all masked out, here, let's do that. Come here, do the smooth tool. Smooth over said surface, and then we go back, look at our normal map, and then you see the results are a lot cleaner. So it's a way of adding detail that isn't really there and quickly lighting sprites. And so you'll see here, we've got the different pieces that go together. Here is the source texture that came in. Here is the lit surface resulting from the lighting and such that's being calculated. Here is the end result texture, and here is the normal map it created. So very streamlined tool. There's not a whole lot to it, but if you are looking to add illumination to your sprites, this is probably the easiest tool out there. And it's quite powerful. It's quite a cool little tool. So I hope you found that useful. If you did, please do click like. And of course, we've featured all kinds of tools, tutorials, reviews, etc. here on this channel. So if you're into game dev, please do subscribe. I'm sure we'll find something interesting to you. All right, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed that. See you all later. Goodbye.